Hey, how you doing guys? I'm Kabi Kwan. Welcome back to my channel Taste of Asian Food. Tonight I'm going to have my dinner at home alone. So I'm thinking of making something simple for myself. And what's better if I just make a one-pot meal for myself? And the simplest one is, of course, fried rice. There are different ways to make fried rice, and tonight I'm going to have vegetarian fried rice by using 3 different types of mushrooms. And let me show you how to do it in this video. Let me show you what are the ingredients I need for this recipe. Of course, for the fried rice, the best is to have some overnight leftover rice that I have already kept in the refrigerator. And then I have an egg over here. And this is the main ingredient: button mushroom, king oyster mushroom, and the dry shiitake mushroom that I have already soaked them overnight. Now it's already soft. Then I have 2 different types of garlic: the fresh chopped garlic, and also the fried garlic. Some peas. If you do not have these frozen peas, you can use some frozen mixed vegetables, such as those included peas, a carrot, and corns. Maybe you can have your own variations. And of course, there are some seasonings I need. Very simple, basic seasoning ingredients for Cantonese cooking: some dark soy sauce, oyster sauce. If you want to make it fully vegetarian, you can use the vegetarian oyster sauce, which is available, some sesame oil, light soy sauce, and ground pepper. First, let me show you the rice that I'm going to use for this fried rice. These are the rice that I have already cooked yesterday and put it in the refrigerator overnight. I have taken it out, let it back to room temperature, because cold rice in the fridge is not very good for frying because it's just too cold to fry. So keep the rice at room temperature for a while before you start to cook, and also try to loosen the rice so that they are not crumbled together. Look at it, it's now very free flow. That's the way it's supposed to be. So what if you do not have leftover fried rice like me? What you can do is to cook your rice, which is fresh, and then take the fresh rice, put the rice onto a tray, keep it single layer, put under the fan, blow it for about 20 to 30 minutes. Now what happened by doing so is that the rice will become much less moist with less water content inside, and it is definitely drier, and the result is quite similar if you use leftover rice that you have kept in the refrigerator, because now the water content is much less and it will not stick to the surface of the wok or your pan that easy if you compare with the freshly cooked rice. Let's get back to the mushroom. That is the main ingredient for this recipe. Now you can use any types of mushrooms. I'm using the dry shiitake mushroom, the king oyster mushroom, this is the king oyster mushroom, and some button mushrooms. So we have a combination of 3. You may not definitely need to use these 3 types of mushroom. You can use any mushroom that is available to you, depending where you live, what is available to you. But I would like to have different types of mushrooms, a combination of 2 to 3 at least, to have different types of flavor. Now this shiitake mushroom, dry shiitake mushroom, is very flavorful, and the flavor is quite intense. So usually I do not only use this mushroom, and I will mix with the rest. So these are the button mushroom. It doesn't really matter how you want to cut it. You can slice it, you can quarter it, doesn't really matter. And I have some king oyster mushroom, which is slightly harder than the other 2, and is more meaty-like in terms of the texture. You can cut it into, okay, let's cut every types of mushroom. Let's cut all the mushroom into strips. One more item I did not mention to you just now is I would like to add some carrots, which is going to give different types of color in addition to the brownish color of the mushroom, which is a little bit monotonous, and the carrot will also provide some crunchiness. Now let's make the sauce for the fried rice. This is light soy sauce, and this is the essential ingredients for most of the Cantonese stir-fried items, and some dark soy sauce. Dark soy sauce is relatively thicker and darker. The purpose is to adjust the color so that it's not so pale. And then some oyster sauce. As I said, if you want to make it a fully vegetarian dish, use the vegan vegetarian sauce which is available. And the next item is sesame oil. If you like sesame flavor, add some sesame oil. It can be optional. Lastly, some pepper. Add a little bit of water, and then combine everything, and that's the sauce we're going to use for the fried rice. In fact, you can use this combination for most stir-fried dishes, stir-fried vegetables or stir-fried meats for Cantonese food. Let's start cooking. Begin with the egg, and I want to make an thin omelette, and then cut the thin omelette into pieces. Next, add some more oil to saute the fresh garlic. When the garlic starts to turn fragrant and aromatic, add the carrot. Turn up the heat a little and add the mushrooms. And along the way, you need to add some water. And along the way, I also include half of the seasoning that we prepare. And the other half, I'm going to reserve it for the rice later. When the carrots already turned soft, now we remove everything away from the wok. Now I'm going to fry the rice with some oil. At first you may find that it may be a redundant step, as I'm going to fry the rice separately from the vegetables, the ingredients. But in fact, it is an important step because we want to fry the rice until it is really fragrant, and we need high heat. And that involves a Maillard reaction. But it is not the case for the vegetables. And in the restaurant, we normally do a two-step method. First, we fry the rice, and then we fry the ingredients, and then we combine them in the final step. So now I start to fry the rice at the medium heat to make it even drier. Once the rice grains become drier, I can turn up to a very high heat and it will not stick. When the rice starts to become quite dry, gradually add the seasoning. We do not want to drench the rice with the sauce and make it sticky. So add the stir-fry sauce slowly, gradually. Now I'm added the last bit of the seasoning. And now you should be able to smell the aroma rising up if you are with me in the kitchen. Now what's remain is to add back all other ingredients back to the wok and mix with the rice. The mushrooms, the peas, and the egg. The last step is to turn off the heat and add the green onions. Combine, and is now ready to dish out. A simple mushroom fried rice for my dinner, and I hope you will love it. And I'm going to top it with my secret ingredients, fried garlic, for additional flavor. Yes. That's how to prepare mushroom fried rice for my dinner, and I hope you will love it. And as usual, I have included the recipe and also the adjustment of all the quantity of the ingredients in the description below the video. Subscribe, tap the notification, and give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in some other similar video soon. Bye for now.